Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's team call. We are so super excited to have Paige Greenway. She's a senior Ruby, not for long, headed to Emerald Ambassador. And Paige and I guess we connected, I think we were senior golds. I can't remember, yeah. And kind of, talked a little, and then as our teams grew, we kind of talked back and forth, and I know her and Christina have also been sideline friends, and if you guys are not connected to people outside of your own personal downline, whether they are sidelines on Team Burden or Team One or Darby team, Paige is under Sally Crosby, so she is a sideline from Darby team. So I want to encourage you guys to connect with sidelines. And like I said, regardless of what team it comes from, even if they're not even on Darby team, connect to people that are the same place in your journey as you are. And here's the key part: with the same passion and drive that you have. Just because they have the same rank, if they don't have that same passion and drive that you have, they're not necessarily going to be a good encourager or motivator. Instead, it could be like a one-way street where you're motivating them, which is awesome, but you want somebody that's going to encourage you and share your struggles and share strategies and tips. And that's what Paige has been to me. And I'm so thankful for her friendship. And so she is going to share. First of all, I have to brag on her. She was in the top 10. I think she was actually number 3, if you look at that list, of top recruits of the entire convention contest. Personal recruits, not her team, personal recruits. She adds 10 to 25 ambassadors every single month, personally, herself, for months and months and months, not like a 1 month kind of thing. So she is going to kind of share with us tonight her tips on how to do that personally in our own business, and then whatever other tips she wants to share with us in terms of Plexus and life. So take it away, Paige.
Okay. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be on this call, really and truly, and kind of nervous. It's very humbling. I watch you guys all the time, and I tell Rachel this all the time, and Chris, I'm just so impressed. I'm always so impressed with your culture and with your interactions with each other and your commitment and your work ethic. So props to you guys, big time. So I do have some things that I am just going to share that I've kind of picked up along the way, or studied or learned, or just God has been teaching me lately. But I want to start, Rachel and Christina are so precious and make me out to be this rock star, and that is not true at all. Not at all. No different than anyone else. God has allowed my team to be very successful and have a really amazing year. And so I'm super grateful for that. If I keep looking down, I'm looking at some notes. Otherwise, I don't trust myself. I'll talk all night, and I'm not going to do that to y'all. So, but I just do want to throw out there, I have those days like everybody else. I have those hard days, those hard weeks, those hard months. It's been, honestly, just being vulnerable, it's been kind of it's been an emotional month for me. I've been riding this high and just very huge momentum, and this month, which we've had crazy momentum this month as well. But just if it doesn't hit second one on day one of the month, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's the matter? Why haven't we added 16 people today? And so it just is, you just get in these funky places in your head, or at least I do. So I am right there with you. If you are ever there, I am right there with you. I think the trick, and what we're going to talk a little bit about, is being able to pick yourself up out of that. That is what is going to separate the men from the boys, okay? Being able to pick up and move on from those times. Sorry, my eyelashes are sticking together. I don't know what's going on, but if I'm doing weird stuff to my eye, that's what's happening. So I definitely have those hard days where I want to throw in the towel, but it was so cool. Last Sunday at church, my pastor was talking about, we're kind of this summer going through a series called Coffee Cup Christianity. And sorry if this sounds weird. I will get to a point, I promise. But there's a verse from the Bible that you may have heard before. It's one that people like to throw around. It's the one that Tim Tebow has on his eye black. Any football fans out there? And it's Philippians 4:13. Thank you. Yes, sir. Philippians 4:13. It says, I can do all things, or this is how we hear it all the time. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And my pastor at church, this is not going to be crazy, like churchy, spiritual the whole time, I promise, but this just really resonated with me. He was saying, we actually pulled up the verse, and he's like, no, it actually says, I can do all this through Christ who gives me strength. And I'm also an English teacher. And so reading something in context is very, very, very important. That means you got to read what comes before it, what comes after it. And so this guy named Paul, who wrote this book of the Bible, was talking about how he has been through major hardships. Like he has been starving, he has been beaten. He also has been through times of plenty where he's had absolutely everything he needed, everything he could have wanted. He says, I've been through it all. And through all of that, I have learned the secret of staying content, of staying strong, of keeping my faith. And that really resonated with me, even within our business. Like, there are ebbs and flows, as we know. There are major highs, there are major lows, but the key is what we do with them, okay? My pastor, he continued to talk about how there are times where in life, it's like we have these mountains in front of us, okay? For some of us, like for me, in my past, it has been some really bad decisions that I made personally, or it has been infertility, struggling for years to get pregnant and having multiple miscarriages and things like that. These mountains that I prayed and asked God to move from my life. And sometimes he has kind of moved the mountain for me, and sometimes I've had to just climb right over that mountain and have the strength to just face it instead of asking for it to be moved. But guess what? In those times of mountain climbing that were rather treacherous, painful, difficult, challenging, stretching, growing, that is when I learned the most. And so this is something that I started, again, applying to my business, looking at our Plexus journeys. Sometimes it's like we have these mountains in our way, right? Where it's just like, oh my goodness, if I could just get a break, like if there could just be some kind of shift and then I could just shoot straight up. But sometimes that's not what we need to grow. Sometimes it takes the one handhold to the next, or foothold, or just that treacherous climb where we're really going to see growth, and we're going to be able to build a very solid foundation and a business that is going to be a lot stronger than it might be without that journey and without that struggle. And so, I'm getting to the place where I'm learning, instead of just asking God to move the mountains, okay, God, show me how you want me to walk along this journey, because this can really bring some growth to my life. And so it happens when we attempt the mountain. Okay. Anyway, so enough about that. But I think one of the things that you have to figure out, that you probably already have, hopefully you have, I'm sure that you have, but if you haven't, you've got to figure out, what do you want? What do you want from this business? What is your goal? My goal, I know Rachel's goal, I know Christina's goal, like, we're going to be diamonds, okay? We know we are going to the top. Come hell or high water, it's going to happen. But that doesn't have to be everyone's goal. And I tell myself this all the time. I tell my sidelines this. Sometimes I have to remember, not everyone's goal is to be at the top. Maybe you want to be a jewel. You want to hit emerald. Maybe you need to make $1,000 a month. Maybe you want to make $500 a month. Whatever it is, you have to know what it is first and foremost, right? And then you have to be hungry for it. You have to be hungry for it. And I have people tell me a lot. I've gotten a lot of phone calls, in fact, this month even, I don't know what it is, of, okay, I think I want to do this. I really think I want to do this. What can I do to make this happen? Like, I want to turn this into something. I know I've been sitting around for a while, but I think I want to do this. And I'll say, okay, these are the things that I think you need to do in order to reach the goals that you're telling me you want to reach. Can you do that? Yeah, definitely. I can totally do it. I'm going to post tonight. I'm going to reach out to 5 people today. And yeah. And then that doesn't happen. Like sometimes they'll do it for a couple days, maybe they'll do it for a week, and then life doesn't completely change for them. They haven't signed 45 ambassadors in that week, and so it's like, well, it got kind of hard and I got really busy and this and that. Okay, we all know that that is the job, right? It is consistency over time. But figuring out what you want, how to do it, and continuing to do it is what's going to separate those who can be successful from those who will be successful. Okay, not that anybody can't be successful. You've just got to do what it takes. So here are some things that that I talk to my team about, and some things that I do on a regular basis. But actually, should I backtrack? I feel like I know you guys, but let me give you a really brief glimpse of my story. I won't go majorly long on this, but I started the products in probably July of 2015. Because my friend had some on her counter, and I had no idea what it was, but I tried Slim, and I was like, yeah, I really like this. And then I kind of forgot about it, but then I saw Sally Crosby, who was my friend, posting about how it could improve your milk supply, and I was like, I could really use that. I had a baby in June of 2015. It was my second. The weight was not just falling off like it had the first time. I was a little bit older. I don't know. Things were just different. And so I saw that it could improve your milk supply. I was a high school English teacher, and I'd really struggled with supply the first time around having my first son. And so I was like, let's give this a shot. I did some research. Is it really safe? Can I really trust this? Trusted Sally. And so I started the products. And y'all, all these things happened that I was not expecting. Like, I don't have to give you the laundry list of energy, of sleep, of my anxiety and depression was improving big time. Like my insomnia was gone. I mean, I know that I had a newborn, but even still, there were times before when I would get in bed and just toss and turn, my mind racing. All of those things changed. And you know the whole bit, lost the baby weight, lost even more, lost the inflammation, all of those things. But the thing that made me the crazy Plexus lady was my history I referenced earlier of our fertility issues. I did not have a cycle, like for as long as I can remember. I had major hormonal issues, okay? And I would go for a year without having a cycle. I did not ovulate. Like, things were just not running as they were supposed to. And so we struggled for years to get pregnant, have babies, to keep babies, 4 miscarriages, the whole bit. Lost a tube from an ectopic, all those things. So I was just kind of a hormonal mess. And God brought us not way before Plexus, but before Plexus, brought us 2 miracle babies, just kind of out of the blue. And after failed treatment, we quit everything. He gave us our boys, okay, 2 different couple of years apart. But anyway, so after having my second, I had heard that Plexus could kind of maybe help regulate, balance out your body. And I was like, I don't see how that's possible. I've been on prescriptions for years and that didn't work, but I'm just gonna pray that maybe it will. Quit nursing beginning of December, started my cycle 2 weeks later, and y'all, every 27 or 28 days, I have another cycle. I ovulate. I don't have cysts on my ovaries. Like, it is incredible. And that has been since 2015, December of 2015. And that was when I was like, sold, done. Okay, this stuff is amazing. And if somebody else doesn't have to go through what I walked through, I'm not saying that it can cure infertility and this and that. We all know this. But if somebody else could be spared what I walked through, maybe it could do this for someone. So I'm going to share this. So I did start to kind of share here and there, just sort of, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. And I was not going to be that person on Facebook. I was not going to be that person bugging their friends and family about another product, blah, blah, blah. I was so dead set against it. But I did kind of just like send an email and let friends and family know this is what I was doing. And so I got a few customers and I was like, oh, sweet. Like, I actually made some money. And then Sally was like, you could go silver. I was like, what? I don't know what that means, but cool. And so went silver in January of 2016 and started building up more customers and realizing this is legit. Like, I'm really making legitimate money. And she was like, you could go gold. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so I started upgrading preferred customers and actually educating myself in the business. Like I said, I did a newborn high school English teacher, had a 2-year-old. My head was not in the game. And once I started looking at what it meant to go gold, and she was going emerald that same month, and last May, I was like, wait a minute, this is my friend, like my real life friend who is now making a 6-figure income and driving a Lexus. Hold up. Maybe I could actually do this. Like, what? And so God was kind of closing the door on my teaching career. I was job sharing at the time. My teaching partner was leaving. They wanted me to go full time. We did not feel like our family, that's what was best for our family at the time. And because of Plexus, I was able to kind of take a leap of faith, but stay home with my kids. And I've now at Senior Ruby surpassed my full-time public school teaching position, which is insane. And so it's just been the biggest blessing for my family, the biggest blessing. But anyway, so that's kind of my background. But once I hit gold and I went to convention last year, and it changed everything for me. I looked around and I saw those jewels and I saw those diamonds, and the words that kept resonating in my brain were, why not? Why not me? They are not different than me. I mean, yeah, they're beautiful. They're very polished. And, some of them are so well spoken and blah, blah, blah. Like, they probably weren't always like that. And so a lot of them had been teachers or just had come from backgrounds that I could really relate to. And this light bulb just went off of, why not you, Paige? Why not? And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm going all in. I'm giving it everything I have I didn't really put like a time limit on it, but I just decided I'm doing it. And so I came home from convention, and literally that next week I messaged so many people, I mean, like, blew people up, that I got on the leaderboard for preferred customers. I didn't even know there was a leaderboard. I was like, what are you talking about? I suddenly started getting all these messages, and Sally made a graphic, and I'm like, what? How? What? It was so exciting. But it was because I had just gone nuts reaching out. And so that was kind of the beginning of it for me. And that was when I was like, all right, I got to figure out what I'm doing here, and started really educating myself, and started really looking at the comp plan and looking at like making a plan. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But so this is what started out my journey of daily work. And so this is kind of, I'm going to give you sort of what my day looks like, and what I consider to be a bare minimum for someone who is wanting to actually make this a business. And like I said, you don't have to, I don't know. I'll give you kind of a both. I'll give you kind of a balanced version, and then I'll give you kind of a what they call like diamond pace version, which is more of what I have done to personally recruit. And so what I tell my team is, you need to set aside, like, put on your calendar, and I'm sure you all do this, you all know this, this is nothing new, but you need to put on your calendar at least 15 to 30 minutes of scheduled Plexus time per day. Okay, this is time where you are reaching out, you are following up, and you are strategically posting or planning your post. Okay, this is, as we all know, this is not scrolling Facebook, this is not happy birthdays, this is not relationship building even. This is reaching out, following up. Those are the two major things, especially with, and I am like a cold message fanatic. And I know that it's terrifying. And honestly, there are times, most times, where it still is terrifying to me. It still puts a pit in my stomach. But I just do it. You just do it. You just rip off the Band-Aid and you just stinking do it. And then you move on and you do it again. So you're not worried about whether or not that person saw that message and they're not responding, or they said no, or what. Like, I don't care. I've already messaged 15 other people. I forgot about you. Okay, so reaching out at least 15 minutes per day, 15 to 30 minutes, 4 to 6 times a week. Okay, so I would say, and this is not diamond pace, but I would be reaching out to at least 3 new people per day, new people. And I still do this. So it gets harder and harder and harder to find new people. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. But, well, we'll talk about that now. Okay. So I used to think people were crazy when they said this, but I've really started doing this, and it is actually paying off. Friending one non-Plexus person per day. And so, y'all, we know what happens to our newsfeed when we have so many Plexus friends, and those relationships are invaluable. They're so important. Supporting each other is so important. But when all you're doing is commenting on Plexus people's stuff or liking other Plexus people's stuff, whenever you see that bar that says, like, you may know so-and-so, it's going to be a Plexus person. So we've got to be reaching out and friending. The more non-Plexus people I've been friending lately, the more non-Plexus people are popping up in my you may know. And sometimes I do know them. Or sometimes we just have a whole bunch of mutual friends that, like, make sense. And so I will friend that person. And they may be like, who the heck is Paige Greenway? But they've been getting accepted. And so it's been kind of a trial and error thing for me, but I've started interacting with those people, and I've had a few of them recently reach out to me and go, okay, hold on, I've been seeing this Plexus stuff, what is it? And these new people, these aren't the people you want to send a friend request and then immediately jump on them and say, hey, have you heard about Plexus? No, you live your life and you start interacting with them and you let it happen more naturally. But we've got to keep friending new Plexus people. And don't just send Plexus people friend requests all the time either. Don't fill up your space friend allotment with just Plexus people. I mean, really and truly, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's so true. So if you're going to be reaching out to at least 3 new people every single day, you've got to be building that network, right? And so we do that on Facebook. We do that, you know this, you do that at your kids' games or at school, whenever y'all are, on the playground, at the park, whatever it is, friending those people. And then just really truly being Plexus wherever you go. Like, and I know Rachel talks about this for sure. Like, we are, who was it? Oh, Laura Prejean was, she did a call for my friend's team last night, and I hopped on it, and she was saying, we are ambassadors. That means, like, we are representing Plexus. So wherever we go, people probably at this point know that you are representing Plexus. So that doesn't mean we have to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. But the choices we make, like our food choices and our drink choices and what we're wearing and how we're talking, and are we negative or are we more positive people? All of these things reflect on Plexus. And so be Plexus. Remember what that means when we're out and about. Okay, so that's reaching out. Following up, I would say with at least 2 prospects per day, okay? And this is something that I have gotten a lot better at because it's hard, especially when someone just flat out ignores you, doesn't respond. You can see they saw that message, but they are not responding. I will actually... I'll check back in with them in maybe a few days or maybe a couple weeks. It depends on the relationship. And I'll just say, hey, so-and-so, I know life is so busy, so I just wanted to make sure you got that last message of mine. Sometimes I do that as a voice clip, or sometimes I will just write it out. And if they, usually somebody's going to respond to that and they'll be like, hey, sorry, whatever. And they'll either answer my question that I've asked them before, and I'll give you all a cold message here in a minute, but or they'll just act like I didn't ask them a question and just be like, oh yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, life's kind of crazy. And then I'll say, hey, I wanted to let you know that fill in the blank, okay? And this is when you use some kind of special. So we just had our 10% off welcome packs, or you use some kind of event. This team is like amazing at events, at either like real life events or like online events. Y'all are incredible at that stuff. And that's what I need to be taking notes on. But so invite them to one of those events, or make something up, like make up a $10 rebate or whatever it is that works for you. Do something to get them moving. But in fact, Tracy, my sweet girl Tracy, who is my rock star, she's like, wait, you just said my name. What's going on? Anyway, she's awesome to be on this call. But we have, and I think Rachel might have even shared it, but she is my poster child for why you follow up, because I reached out to her starting like back in October, and initially she was like, yeah, maybe kind of sort of interested, and then went totally dark. When I was like, okay, well, let's, you could do this, this, and this, she didn't respond. And then I followed up with her again. She didn't respond. And then I started sending her every time we had a sale, every time there was a special, every time we had some kind of online event. I'd be like, just letting you know, just wanting to make sure you're aware. And I do this a lot, and I would highly recommend it. I'll send I'm not trying to drive you totally crazy, laugh, cry emoji, but I just want to make sure that you're informed about XYZ, whatever the special is. I just want to keep you up to date on the specials in case you're interested. And usually people will respond to that one too. And you're like, I'm not trying to drive you nuts. Well, you should be like, oh, you're not driving me nuts, even though you are probably. But these are what I call, and I'm sure my team makes fun of me behind my back. I know Sally and Kim do. But these are what I call softballs, okay? When we have a Plexus special or a sale, either corporately or just your team or just you, that is a softball reason for you to follow up. That means it's easy to hit. They're just lobbing it up, and you can just knock that one out of the park. You better be using those to follow up. It's the perfect excuse. It's not just a, hey, have you thought any more about Plexus? It's a, hey, here's an even better reason for you to do this now, right now. There's a sale. Okay, so follow up. You need to be following up with prospects at least twice a day. And share something with them. Follow up with your customers, at least one customer per day. We know this, okay? We know that it is so important for retention. Our preferred customers, if somebody's bought some kind of trial pack, if we have wholesale customers, we have got to be all over them. It's gotten to where especially with a new wholesale customer, especially if they're brand new to Plexus, they're probably like, oh my gosh, girl, you need to chill. Leave me alone. But I just want to make sure that they're, first of all, taking their products, okay? And that they're not panicking because maybe they feel kind of yucky in the beginning, all right? We can work through that. And I found the more I can educate someone on die-off or detox, the better. And we will walk through that. That is not a reason for them to give up. And when you're not checking in on them, guess what? Most people are giving up silently. They are not letting you know, ooh, this is no good. I do not like this stuff. They're just quitting. And so it's been 3 weeks, and you're like, how's it going with your products? And they're like, actually, I quit 3 weeks ago. And you're like, what? Okay, this is why every couple of days, especially with those new people, you are following up with them and making sure that you're troubleshooting, all of that. And they see, I had somebody, I have a wholesale customer who is a rep, an ambassador or something for a different company, a totally completely different type of company. And she was just like, I am just like so blown away that how you follow up with me. Like that first of all, it makes me want to like be better and make sure that I'm like doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I know you're going to ask me. And it just, I don't know, like that's just really cool, the way that you like take care of your customers. And I just do that because that's what I was trained to do. It's not because I'm special. It's what we hopefully all are doing. But it sets us apart. And I think it also sets Plexus apart when we really take care of our people. And I have had people come to me years later that said, Plexus didn't work for me. I didn't know what to take. Nobody checked in with me. No, I didn't know that I was supposed to take it like this. I didn't have any instructions, blah, blah, blah. No, don't ever be that ambassador who loses somebody because they're not educating or training or caring for their people. They will go to someone else, or they will tell people Plexus doesn't work. Okay, and that is what has happened so many times just because someone was not followed up with. So make sure you are following up with your people. And then check in on at least one inactive, like non-business building ambassador per day, I would say. Okay, or somebody who said they want to work the business. Like, don't leave anybody behind. Leave no man behind. And just because somebody tells you not right now, I don't know, I don't think so, doesn't mean they're not watching and thinking about it and maybe could change their minds. And if you give them a little nudge, they'll go for it. So make sure that you're checking in with your people all across the board, always. So I would just start like a rotating list. Keep it as organized as you want to, and make sure that you're really following up with your people, customers, ambassadors, business builders, wholesalers, everybody. Also, watch at least, and again, this is bare stinking minimum because I do this daily. Watch at least one training per week. Okay, that is not a hard thing to do. And it's something that I do while I'm cooking dinner, while I'm folding laundry, while I'm, after I've dropped my kids off and I'm running around, doing errands, whatever. Make sure that you are educating yourself. Like if you are wanting to grow, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, then there are some very specific things that you've got to do to, like, people who are diamonds, they've worked some things out, right? So those are the people I study. Those are the people I listen to. Those are the people that I believe and I try to emulate. And so but I also want to train myself on products. I want to train myself on actual network marketing. What should that look like? Train myself on how to close a deal. Train myself on being a better leader. If you have one person underneath you, one person, you have the chance to lead them, coach them, and you want to do it well. You want to make it count, okay? Because that is how you will grow. That's how you will grow. Come alongside that person. And so train yourself, at least a video per week. Like I said, I can do that in my sleep. So no excuses, do it. Something else that is going to sound maybe weird, and Rachel and Christina did not put me up to this. I say this every time, and they've probably seen me say this, and Tracy definitely will be familiar with it. Y'all, when your sponsor puts something on their team page, read it. Like, we agonize, and you probably have a team page too, and you probably do the same thing. Like, you agonize over, I don't want to drive my people crazy. Like, I've already posted 3 times today, but this is so good, and they need to hear it, or they need to see it, or whatever. Like, just read it. Just read it or watch it, and then hit like or comment about what it meant to you. I cannot tell you when somebody on my team comments on my posts, just like, thanks, or got it, or even if they just hit like, I'm like, okay, this served a purpose. Like, this actually meant something to somebody. It wasn't just like a shot in the dark into the deep abyss black hole. They actually are tracking with me. Fantastic. It's wonderful. Okay, so let your sponsors know that you're reading what they're posting, because they work really hard to bring you good stuff. And these two do. They do. Excellent stuff. Always worth reading or watching or listening or whatever it is. Okay, monkey math. Have y'all talked about monkey math much as a team? a little bit here or there.
Some, not a ton.
Okay. So I would definitely say Google Plexus Monkey Math, and or I can share it, share a video, even just the condensed version on your page or pages. But this is something that really changed things for me. So I told you I went gold last May, and that was when I was like, I'm doing this. And so Sally kind of gave me this, she gave me this graphic. I don't know where she got it, but it was like how to get to Emerald by July 31st of 2017. And so it was kind of a map of like, you need to hit senior gold in September. You need to hit Ruby like December. You need to hit senior Ruby March-ish, and then Emerald by July 31st. And I was like, okay, then that's what I'm going to do. And so, but it's one thing to be like, all right, I want to be senior gold in September. Well, that's great, but you have to have a plan. This is what I have learned. You have to have a plan. There are holes to fill, and there are people to plug in to those holes. And so you hit, if you watch this, I'm going to totally screw up this math, y'all. I am not a math person. I was an English teacher, but watch the video. But we can keep it simple, maybe. If you know, all right, I have 50 points. I had 50 points at the end of May, and I want to be gold by July. Okay, then you've got half your people. You have maybe 10 people. You need to add at least 10 holes to fill. And we know what happens. We know attrition happens. We know people fall off for various reasons. So we always want to overshoot a goal. So I need to fill at least 10 to 15 holes in order to hit 100 points in, say, July. If I add all 10 in June with welcome packs, then I'm going to hit my points in July. Okay, so, and you just keep scaling that up. I realized to get to senior gold, I needed, 250? I've already forgotten. Okay, 250 points. So I knew, yes, some of us may know the exact numbers, don't we? But so you've got to figure out, all right, so I have 100 points. If I ended this month with 100 points and I need to hit 250, I've got 150 points that I've got to make up at least. And so how many people is that? You divide it by 5. You're usually going to be adding those people on your levels 1 through 3 at that point. Okay, and so that would be, I don't know what that math is, 150 divided by 5. I should know that, 35. Okay, whatever it is, it's something. And then split that out over 3 months. So whatever that number is, 150 divided by 5. And then figure out, all right, so in June, I need to add 20 people. In July, we need to add 20 people. And in August, we need to add 20 people so that in September, I can hit senior gold. Okay, and share this with your team. Once you realize, all right, put a number on it. Let's shoot to add at least this number of people. Then people are working, I like to work towards a goal. Like when I can put a number on it, I may not be able to multiply, divide, add, subtract, but I know I can add this number of people. And then you are working your business every day, doing those things that we talked about, reaching out to at least 3 new people per day, following up with at least 2 prospects per day, and then troubleshooting, making sure you're retaining all the people that you already have so that you are growing consistently month to month. And do that monkey math. That once I realized I want to be Emerald by July 31st, I made a plan. And for the most part, there have been times we deviated from it. December, I don't know about y'all, but we don't talk about December on my team. We pretend like December did not happen. Okay? So that threw us off a little bit, but we kept on going. It built character. And it strengthened us for the journey, and we kept moving up after that. Okay, so you just got to keep going. But I would highly recommend figuring out, making a plan, put it on paper. I have like 1,000 monkey math deals in my journals written out for each new goal. I sat down a year ago and I I made my plan of how to get to Emerald. You know, you end differently every single month. You don't always end. You don't hit Ruby with necessarily 500 points. And so you adjust and people fall off and this and that. So put it on paper, set your goals, and then in your brain, you go, I'm doing this. I am doing this. I think that's another thing that changed everything for me. When I went from, and I know y'all have done some really awesome mindset training. Like when I moved from, I think that I could maybe do this, to like, no, this is what I'm doing. We're adding 25 people this month, by golly. Like, and I showed my team that confidence, and I let them know I believed in them, and that if I made up my mind, if we need to add 25 people, then I'm going to add 25 people. And if anybody else adds people, it's just going to be a bonus. That's how I've worked. And it's been a sacrifice. It has been. And like I said, that may not be where you are, and that's okay. But for me, we have dreams. We have goals that would not be possible without Plexus. Y'all, as a teacher, and my husband is a worship pastor. He's a worship and care pastor. And so we have never wanted for anything. We haven't. But there are caps to those positions, those salaries. You know what I'm saying? Like I've already blown past my teaching cap. And that's crazy. And we are hopefully about to start our adoption process. Getting to Emerald is going to be a huge, huge shift in that, like getting that ball really rolling, because it's stinking expensive. And so it's changed what that looks like for our family. And being able to dream about letting my children see the world. This is not something that was possible before Plexus, and it makes me cry every single time that a stupid breast milk post by Sally Crosby, it changed everything forever. And then these products changed everything about my health. And so my belief is just so unshakable in these products and in this business opportunity. And I think that's what gets me through those days of like, this is hard, or I haven't watched TV in 2 months, or I don't even know what it's like to sit down uninterrupted and not be like answering messages. There are days like that. But when I look at where we are now, as opposed to where I was a year ago, and when I think about where my family will be in a year, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. And so it just gives me that fire and that passion to push through on those days when I'm like, gosh, I really wanted to hit this goal, but I don't know. No, none of that. No, it's happening. We're doing it. And so I think it is so important to keep your head in that right space and to keep your belief completely unshakable. Nobody can tell me that these products don't work. Nobody. That's ridiculous. They've changed my life. And nobody can tell me that if they really 100% are going to throw themselves into this business, that they can't be successful. Again, does that mean every single person is going to be a diamond? No, they're not. But success doesn't have to be like $500,000 a year. That's not, success is like being able to, like my friend Kim, she texted me today and was like, we just paid off 2 credit card bills that we've been working on for years. It brought tears to my eyes. That is huge. That is incredible. So like being able to cover some utilities, being able to put your kid in a dance class or soccer camp or things that you would not otherwise be able to do, that is success. So let those things drive you to reach out and to share again. But like I said, you've just got to ask yourself, why not? Why not me? And then you get rid of the excuses. There will always be reasons why not, but your reasons why it is worth it have to overpower those. And that unshakable belief has to overpower that. But I think that, it's worth it. It's just worth it is the bottom line. So you either believe that these products work or you don't, or you either believe that this business opportunity works or it doesn't. And if you don't, then call it a day. But if you do, then you might as well go for it. Like, you might as well go for it like you believe it, because it's worth it. And I know you hear it all the time, but success loves speed. That's why I'm saying, like, these things are daily things that I do. And that's why I freak out at the beginning of every single month when my points go down to 0. I panic again, because I'm like, oh, we gotta go. It motivates me to reach out again, to reach out to somebody new, again, because it happens all the time where there will be people who get stuck in a place, and it's not for lack of people in their back office, but sometimes it's just a matter of getting going quickly enough again to where you can get all those points to hit at the same time and then keep moving up, instead of backwards or instead of staying still. So, but speed is only going to come when you are working daily. Sorry, I know I'm kind of all over the place and rambling, but you have to, another thing I would say is everybody is different. Everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own flair. You don't have to do it like I do it. You don't have to run your business like I run my business, or like Rachel does, or like Christina does, or Tracy does, or whoever else. You don't have to like have your own personality. You shouldn't. You should have your own personality and your own flair. But like I was saying a few minutes ago, there are still certain things that you have to do to be successful. You just do. You have to post. Like, I have somebody on my team right now who really is like, I want this. I don't know why I'm not moving. I'm like, well, sister, you haven't posted in 3 days. You got to post. You got to post about your personal stuff, and you've got to post about Plexus. And they need to be good. Not silly, like cheesy, ugly graphics either. Like, attract your people, okay? Be personal with it, but you have to post. And then, like I said, you have to reach out and you have to follow up. So every single person who has been successful in this business, they have done those things. They absolutely have. They have been told no, they have been rejected, they have been ignored, but they have done those things on the regular. Not sporadically, not when it's been a cold message challenge, not when somebody has offered them an incentive. They have done it because that is incentive enough to grow their businesses. They just do it. And so, and they do it every single day. So just do the things that work. I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Anyway, okay, I think I'm going to kind of wrap it up here because, like I said, totally been rambling. But sometimes, yeah, you just have to have a thick skin, and you just have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I've had a few days like that this month where I just suck it up and keep going. You just keep going, because wallowing in the it's not working, or people are falling off, or detox is about to kill them, or, you know, I did the 7-day challenge and I had 19 people in it and 3 people ordered. Yeah, that stinks. It does. Keep going. The only thing that's going to fix that is activity. The only thing that's going to make you feel better is activity. The only thing that's going to generate more business is activity. So keep going every single day. Okay, I'm going to stop because I could keep going, but I'm not going to. With y'all tonight.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I loved all of that. And it's so funny because Paige and I have had our moments on like the 1st or 2nd of the month where we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
All the time.
I think the first time I realized that she was freaking out too, it made me feel better. I was like, well, at least somebody else is freaking out too.
Not the only one who completely panics every single month. Yep.
So do you have like, it's 9:22, do you have like 8 minutes for question and answer?
Yeah.
I am going to do gallery view. Everyone is muted. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself. If you don't know how to unmute yourself, you can like wave and I'll unmute you and ask Paige a question.
I saw something in the chat. Can you give a cold message sample? Do you want me to answer that real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is my favorite cold message right now. And Rachel and I have talked about this so much. And y'all, she's so good at leading with the business too. So ask her about that. I am like Rachel said, I add wholesale customers. That's something that is natural for me to do. And then by the grace of God, have stumbled across some business builders. And so I'm trying to get a whole lot better at that than I have been. But something when I am reaching out about the products, my favorite message these last few months has been super simple. And I did not make up the first part of it, and you've heard it, I promise. But it's just, I am also a believer in not sending a super long paragraph that's really personal and really asking them about the last 10 years of their life that I've missed out on, because it just is not genuine to me. I don't know, but you do you, for sure. So if that feels more comfortable for you, then you do that. But what I do is just say, hey, Sally Sue, and I'll say like one sentence of something personal. Your new baby is so precious. I love keeping up with you guys on Facebook. And then I will do the whole, so you may have seen my Plexus post, ... Have you ever tried it? And I will send that. And then I follow it up immediately. So this is what I added to it, because that you may have seen my Plexus post. Have you ever tried it? That was not mine. But I follow it up immediately with, I know this is so random, but these products have been a total lifesaver for me. So I am just super passionate about sharing them. And that's it. And the reason I send that second one is for a couple of reasons. First of all, it acknowledges the randomness of my reach out. But then also, I never want somebody to think that I'm reaching out to them about Plexus because I think they need to lose weight. Okay, we know that's not what it's about, but I think the masses have an impression that these are weight loss supplements. So I let people know these have been a lifesaver for me. And I feel like that kind of diffuses that, why is she letting me know about a weight loss supplement situation? So so you may have seen my Plexus post, ... Have you ever tried it? Send, followed up with, I know this is so random, but these products have been a total lifesaver for me. What is it? So I'm super passionate about sharing them. And then I get a lot of responses from that because people like to tell me whether or not they've tried them. Sometimes they have and they, didn't like it, or sometimes they did and they had to quit for whatever reason or whatever. Or they're like secretly an ambassador. I don't know. Or sometimes they want to try it.
Another thing that Paige told me, so I know she said this before because I heard it from her, was following it up in that follow-up message with following it up with, I've just become really passionate about sharing this with other busy mamas. And it kind of diffuses, like she said, that, weight loss thing. And I really like that one. I know not everyone on this call is a young mother. Some are grandmothers, some don't have children, and that's okay. But finding that connection that you have to Plexus and sharing about how that's what you're passionate about. And that kind of brings a personal touch too and diffuses the weight loss piece.
So other busy whatevers, fill in the blank. I've done that like former coworkers, like other busy teachers or other busy, working ladies or whatever it is. Yeah, you can, yes, absolutely. Sorry, I still have something going on with my eye.
Did anybody have one last question? We have time for one more question.
No, doggy.
Okay. Well, Paige, thank you so much. I know we all appreciated your tips, and people were asking me long before we scheduled this call to have you as a guest speaker. So feel appreciated and loved, and hope everybody has a great night. If anybody thinks of another question, they can message me and I can get Paige's input. So have an awesome night, everyone.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.